In the first part of our conference, we will conclude with a discussion about what kind of opportunities do we have and does transformation of energy sector present for the Baltic economy. And I'm happy to invite participants of our discussion. MΑRIS AVOTINŠ, country manager of SIA Alexela, Latvia. PRIIT LEPASEPP, co-founder and CEO of Sunly. MARTI JELTSOV, co-founder and board member of Fermi Energia, and KASPARS LIEPINŠ, chairman of the board of H2 Latvia. I'm honored to see you all here. I think we all can agree that the last few years has been very challenging, especially in the field of energy. What is your opinion? Like, in what kind of situation are we now? Is the worst over and we can say that everything is good now, or we still have to be ready for some kind of new possible challenges? AVOTINŠ, maybe you can start.
Yeah. I think that like this uncertainty is still around, but of course if you are comparing how it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, when each big company created their own energy specialist, like, and everybody was thinking what to do with that, I think that's like a bit in the past. But if we are looking to the future, then I think we should look on this as kind of a opportunity, but as well as something to take into consideration. Like, first of all, there are these Braille disconnections. Second, there is like a lot of moving like things around, like, and as well, therefore I think that we should just keep like our eyes open, like in the next coming years.
PRIIT, what is your opinion about this situation, current situation?
I think the situation hasn't really changed, so our main achievement or goal should be that we will transform ourselves from old to new, and we haven't done it yet. So unfortunately, this fluctuation in energy prices will continue to happen. The only thing that has changed is that, let's say, in gas, for example, or natural gas, Norway and LNG in general has come to help us, because all the gas before came from Russia, but still the power units are here. So the question is that do we want to rely on importing gas to this region? I mean, the Central Eastern European markets. Because if we take like 2022, then we, as an European in whole, paid like 400 billion euros to somebody else. So basically the money went to somewhere else than Europe. And the question is that, do we want it to be continuing? Because one thing that will happen is that our customers will get angry. And the customers are end customers. So heat prices, electricity prices, grid connection prices, one thing that can happen is either we change or the societies will change through voting, because EU is a democratic place. And in 27 there are many elections coming on in this region as well. So it's a very important place. So if the fluctuating prices continue to take away money from end customers, then there will be somebody here to say something else that they really want to do. So the question is that, do we change? Because at the end, the customers are not happy.
Kaspar, what is your opinion about this topic?
Yes, I think the storm is not over yet. You know, we are just at the middle of the transformation. And until we get to this point when we have all the energy indigenously produced in the Baltic states, Nordics, you know, in greater part of the Europe, we are still not good. I think that one transformational thing will be coming, what we will also need to be prepared for, the energy storage. All scales, you know, this small, like a short-term storage, which can be batteries or other solutions, and then we are talking about large-scale solutions, long-term, mid-term storage, which can be hydrogen, which is already highlighted in some presentations. Until we are not there, and until we have this production in place, it will be very hard also to untangle the full rollout of the renewables. And that is something which we still need to do. And there's good synergies also with the heating sector, with the waste heat and so on. And I see also the colleagues, which we just came yesterday from Denmark, from the very exciting and inspiring visit to the hydrogen and power-to-X sector, We witnessed the plant in Kaso, next to the largest 300 megawatt solar plant in the Nordics, and also the new methanol plant, e-methanol plant, which is about to produce in a couple of months' time. Very exciting things. I hope that there's a place also in the Baltics to get all these things in, so we'll have our own electricity, our own transport fuels, our own heat sources here locally, indigenously produced. Then prices will be flat, peaks will be gone, and then we'll be able also to accommodate more in renewables.
Martti, what you can add to this?
I would say that we should not underestimate the task, and the energy transition is a challenge. It's a huge challenge. It's not solved yet, but as with every challenge, there are opportunities. I would compare it with running a marathon. I was running my first official marathon last Sunday, and the training process for that takes time. There are opportunities in the training process where we learn, prepare, choose our tools, and there are also opportunities once we're done with the marathon. We're in a better shape. We have a new solution for the power market as well, for the power portfolio mix, but we are by no means close to solving the energy transition yet. We may have reaped some low-hanging fruits or about to reap them, but the major part of the challenge will still come. Most power market shareholders or participants are predicting quite high prices, volatile prices, as was mentioned, for the upcoming winter, for next years. And we are doing our best to put the renewables there, and that's part of the story. And then we have another part of the story where we discussed gas or other sources. I come from nuclear background. And as was mentioned in the last presentations I heard, on different very nice innovative solutions, they're all connected to the grid. When the sun is not shining, when the battery is empty, when the wind is not blowing, we're all connected to the grid. But there must be something in the grid as well.
If we think about the energy sector nowadays and about the future of this field, what do you think will be the most significant changes, what we will see, for example, in 5 years? PRIIT, what is your opinion?
Regulation has to change first, because we are coming from non-distributed and it will be distributed energy. So what it means is that we have challenges from distribution grids to transmission grids. So there the understanding is that we are still producing in big power plants, but the customers are also now producing and also storing and using EVs. So the regulation has to change first. And then we don't need to put much money into it, because if we look what is happening, for example, in Estonia, there are like over 10 onshore wind developers. In Sunli, we have 1 gigawatt of projects, so let's say 10, 12 projects in wind onshore that will have RTB in end of next year. So there are a lot of ongoing things, and we started it in 2020, so it has taken us then 5 to 6 years. And we know that this has to be done, because when we started in 2019, then there weren't many projects to be built, and now we are moving away from this, that now we will have. So the development will end quite soon, and then we will start to build a lot of renewables. But now we have started to see zero prices in this 5 years. So when we are now starting to build almost 800 megawatts of PV in Baltics additionally, then we were quite sober to understanding what we are trying to do in this market. And we see that electrification is something that needs to come also in heating. So before hydrogen, we really believe that it's not possible that in Baltics there are still places where district heating is fixed with such a high prices, when the electricity pays in tens of euros or €0 or -euros. So if you use batteries for today, for example, or PV, we operate in Estonia battery plant, we charge it with -130 € per megawatt hour. So this is happening now constantly. And in August, the reaction times that the system used this battery was in tens of times. So it's quite interesting that, for example, for PV, we are paying today not to produce. So Sunli earns today in PV more not producing than producing, for example. So quite stupid market, quite expensive market, but yeah, it shows that we need to change. Not only electricity market has to change, but also energy in total and heating. I think electrification is the golden rule here. From the industry, we have to understand that this is something that works. Electricity is efficient, so now we have to think how to solve this in Baltics in the last 50% of hours in time, where there is no renewables and storage is also empty. So what to do with those hours? So.
Mari, how do you see the future of energy sector?
I think there are like a number of developments. Like one is what was as well mentioned today. I think that in the Baltics and in Latvia as well, in like last year and going forward, I think biomethane will become kind of one of these green energy gases what will start to kind of generate quite a sizable like a part in energy mix. Then I think the second big issue is like distribution transition operator costs, like what was mentioned already, because currently kind of that's really true, like that a big part of uncertainty for the coming years is actually how like this distribution networks will be able to cope with this integration, or basically separation from the BRELL network. And I think that one more important aspect in these 5 years, we should kind of learn to live with not like that the energy is coming from one direction down to the very end on the Baltic Sea, but basically it more kind of becomes like a pools of the energy. And this as well quite a lot comes back to the regulation, like how actually not to charge the same electron which goes from Daugavpils, like I don't know, to Tallinn, like, but if it goes in the same kind of region, that actually the cost is much lower. And if these things are solved, then I think that that fundamental issue is like how to solve long-term storage, because short-term storage, I think that will be by the smart money actually covered in coming years, because the battery packs are already built by a lot of companies. But I think that what is still not solved is like a long-term storage, and there I think that I think actually we are even in the same project, like there is in Estonia one underground like a
pumped
hydro, which seems like is one of the best kind of solutions going forward, actually to have these longer-term storages.
Martti, what you can add to this? How you see the future of energy sector?
What I would like to see is a little bit more maybe complete picture system analysis with more in-depth mathematics and always costs in mind. That what we see right now is that we do half of the story. We do some subsidies, which is fine for to getting the industries going, and then we have this the leftover part, which is it's not we call it we have a reserve mechanisms to cope with the hours where we don't have the power, but there is. It's funny, for me at least, to call it a reserve when it's almost half or even more of the hours where we need something. It may be like this when you do the calculations. And we need a solution for that as well. And be it gas or nuclear or any other base load or dispatchable capacity, that also now comes with additional extra cost. So the whole system is just from first glimpse not most cost efficient, but we need to just somehow make it balanced with renewables, baseload, dispatchable batteries, and keep the cost also at a reasonable level, so that the consumers wouldn't, come to streets. And one important thing is that the power price is an indicator, to me at least, of a health situation in the energy system, and if that is high, we have a fever. If it's too low, actually, we also have a fever, like with temperature in the body. So it needs to be in the somewhat optimal level, and probably lower, and it shouldn't be very volatile as well, because consumers feel it with their wallet as we do feel our body temperature really in the same way. So we have to find a combined solution, do the whole system analysis, and maybe cooperate somehow better together in the future.
Kaspars, what you can add?
Yes, so 5 years time frame, right? I think definitely the next shock will come with decoupling from the BRELL, and then I hope that we will see more and more solutions on the balancing on energy elasticity side, so we are able to have a flexible storage, and that's where the batteries will come in. We see already a lot of businesses has installed their own solar plants and are already benefiting from that one. I think the next step will be that the adding of this short-term storage, and that will somehow help to balance these things. Might happen also that we see the rise of the microgeneration energy communities, which would be exactly what MARIS mentioned, like having this decentralized model coming more and more in. But that depends on our capability to collaborate among ourselves and getting, into the peer-to-peer trading schemes or something like that. In a longer frame, like in 5 years, end of the 5 years, we'll see more of the projects thinking already about the long-term energy storage, and that's just what I'm mentioning about the AVOTINŠ projects, because that is the only way how we can untangle the full potential of the wind and solar deployment in Latvia. Until we have this long-term storage solution here, that will be unsolvable. And then we can easily replace natural gas as a source of this CHP plants, for example, and solve the equation. There'll be a lot of noise. There'll be a lot of SMR, small modular nuclear reactor noise and stuff like that, which will just keep us, away from this objective. But the deployment of renewables with the flexible storage, I think that's the only way forward, and that's where we'll be ending up.
What opportunities this transformation of energy sector will present for the Baltic states and for our economy? So basically, how can we use this situation and these possible future challenges turn into opportunities? Martti, what is your opinion?
First, I see this, that the currently Baltic countries are able to produce maybe 2/3 of the power it needs, roughly. So the import is about 1/3, depending on the year. So before, we should solve that one, and that gives us, I don't know, it's an opportunity, or we have to fix that. First, we have to fix that. It's a good thing, so we can call it an opportunity, and then we have to do it in this combined manner with renewables and base load. So if you say that SMRs are noise, I don't think it's a good thing to say. It's not collaborative. Hydrogen, batteries, they all have their... I would say that if we focus too much on one thing, we are walking on a very thin ice. It's risk. It's high risk. And that's why I vouch for considering systematically all the parties and make the rules. Regulation change was mentioned, that we have to have an even playground for all the players that, of course, meet the, let's say, taxonomy criteria or that are clean and meet the requirements, and they can then come to the market and compete against each other. And we should not pre-select any technology, put all our eggs in the same one basket, and but yeah, in this combined manner, we have to solve this import issue first, and then we can most likely with that, when we do it with renewables included, we will have leftover power to export, and that's where I would like to see Baltics going, back to exporting region.
Kaspar, what kind of opportunities do you see?
Well, I think we don't currently, as we speak, we see the clear pathway for renewables, we see the cost curves, learning curves. We don't see that one for the nuclear yet, I'm not excluding that in the longer run, by 2030, 35, 40, we'll see some developments there. But until that clarity is not there, we can base our assumptions on what is known. And we see then how solar has changed dramatically, energy infrastructure. Now everyone can become a prosumer. Each and every company, household can become a prosumer of its own. I don't see that with SMR. SMR is still centralized model, will be run by the big companies, it will be not even IPP, it will be maybe national power companies. So I'm more in favor of this decentralized model. It's more safer, more resilient, especially from the geopolitical risks as well, Well, the destroying one SMR unit will be much easier than the tens, thousands of the solar installations and with tens maybe or hundred of the storage facilities. So that we also need to take. It's how we can democratize this market, how we can make more flexible and more responding to the opportunities in the renewable sector. That is my
PRIIT, what is your opinion?
Very good discussion about SMRs, but I don't want to go there. For me, it is a logical thing to do exactly that, to have a wider view on what is cheap and what is not. And this is a very good example about Estonia, or not understanding what Estonia is doing about offshore. The fact is that in the Baltics we have enough room to satisfy our needs or goals by 2030 onshore. The only discussion has been that it's like regulation is like it takes too many years, but still, if we look Estonia, then additional gigawatts, they are there. The next thing why in Sunly we are doing, although the name says that sun is in it, but we have been in wind industry for a very long time. So we did, for example, solar first for the one main reason to get first thing, the grid connections, which really try to do a hybrid solution. So meaning that to use the grid in an efficient way. This is one thing. Solar is something like, if we look at the prices, what it has been doing every year, it is a very important thing to see as well. Today it's bifacial. The price is, if we compare it to something that was before, quite soon, like if you want to build yourself a fence, a wooden fence, it's cheaper to install PV panels besides the wood fences. The PV goes so cheap that the prognosis is that in 5 years, the price will drop 50% more. In batteries, as we are building batteries additionally to what we have in Estonia, this one innovation project, 2 megawatt hours, if we compare those prices with those prices that we bought like last year, September, it's 60% cheaper. Please tell me once a product that goes cheaper in this kind of a way and efficiency go up. One thing, cycle efficiency in batteries. There are 8 technologies competing with each other at the moment. And the cycle efficiency and periods of when it drops to 80%, it's, let's say, warranties are coming additionally what the producers are offering, basically saying that they are saying that it will come later. So the cycle will be not 10,000 but 15,000, only through practice. So these kind of things are happening. So in hydrogen, for example, I don't see it at the moment. In SMR, they are in an innovation phase in that sense that if we are considering what is there at the moment to build, like if we do decide now to build an electrical system here in Latvia, what can we go to shop and buy? So we can buy CSPs, we can buy gas turbines, we can buy PV, we can buy batteries, we can buy EVs, but we cannot do that at the moment to basically be ready in, let's say, 36 months or something like that. So we shouldn't confuse them with each other. I would like to say that if we put, in Sunly, we put everything together, and we are in Alexela with pumped hydro storage as well. If that project is ready to gather the additional batteries and not adding much hydrogen, we have this issue of 15 hours, well, 50% of hours in a year that we still have to find a solution. But please remember that we still have the old gas power plants in the Baltic still there. We don't need to burn them down, tear them down yet. It's the rule that we have to do it by 35 year. So it's not so apocalyptic as it seems. So, but we have to start now with granular things, not discussing about it, but doing like we do in Sunly. So 800 million investment this year started, and professional investors gave the money to do it.
Mari, what is your opinion?
I think agreeing with all what's been said so far, but I think that one maybe kind of interesting concept how to look on it is like if you look on the Baltics, like I think Lithuanians have extremely aggressive plan not only for production of the electricity, but as well how to increase consumption. I think if we are looking nowadays like to Latvia, then I think our biggest problem is that there is a very tiny consumption, like it's like what 500 megawatts to like 1.5 1.3 gigawatts per hour. And like if we really kind of want to kind of look on this in the long term, then I think that we should as well, like on a country levels, kind of see like energy as one of our competitive advantages, because if we look in the past, then we were kind of like in the Baltics bridge between east and west in a transit flow. Now we actually are the bridge in energy flows, like between the north and south. And I think that this is something what we should, all countries together, and as well maybe such big projects as this pumped hydro or some other kind of what we have like in Baltics, we should just kind of start to utilize them and have this long-term like strategy that we as a country want to see like production and as well consumption. And I think second thing where I fully agree that we should not put everything on one card, like because I think the best example probably is Sweden, which took them 30 years to really kind of diversify their energy sources, and now I think energy is one of their competitive advantages, and therefore I think as well like solars and wind is good, but they are not good if they are just alone. Like there should be kind of different as well options.
We still have a few minutes, so let's try to be short in our next answers. What about investments? Like, what are the financing options nowadays if companies wants to be greener and transform? Kaspars, do you know? Like, of course, we can pay ourselves, but are there any other options?
Well, I think the state is trying to be more active, at least in Latvian side, with AVOTINŠ activities. That is where we can see one opportunity. If you're talking about all these new things, like for example, hydrogen-related power to X and alternative fuels, there's a good opportunity to go for the innovation fund money, because most of these projects are considered innovative yet, and they are not mature technology still. So innovation fund is a good thing. One thing which we can also tackle from this, let's say the EU funding, would be the modernization fund, which provides huge opportunities, especially if we're talking about our sector. We need to tap into the modernization fund means, for all Baltic countries, and get, the projects realized out of that one. And then the private investments or institutional investments would be also, we need the long money. All these projects is so, it will take longer years for return, but it's stable return. It's about energy sector, so yeah.
Martti, what is your opinion?
Yeah, nuclear power plants, even SMRs, are expensive. They do a lot of work. They work for a long time, but they are expensive to build. You can do the preparatory phase, planning and licensing for the construction licensing. All that you can do with private money. Of course, you need coherence with governments. And but once you are actually building that, then there is a combination of private and public, let's say, partnership. And I don't mean only investments. It can be investments or loan guarantees for this large infrastructure projects. It doesn't only go for nuclear or energy. And that may be needed, but no like support in terms of direct subsidies or financial support when the power is being produced, because that is exactly what we have seen in the Nordics, and that's what we enjoy, those fruits in the Nordics. The investments were made, and now we are all holding our hands that we can get the power from the Nordics.
Mari, what you can add?
I think the Altum and then different green bonds you can finance if you have like larger projects, but in general I think still there is a lot of EU funds where you can, especially for like hydrogen, like we are planning to open 2 hydrogen filling stations in Tallinn next year. Like there is one company who will run like I think 20 or 30 hydrogen cars, like and of course this project, not in a purchase of the cars, not even in installation of this project, it can't be done like just commercially. There should be some kind of support for this new kind of like initiatives.
PRIIT, where Sunli is getting money for the new projects?
Definitely not in supports. So we tried to use the market for that favor, because exactly with the batteries, the spreads are going crazy during the summer as well. So, and technology is getting cheaper. What we are seeking from technology providers is basically different, additionally, basically different guarantees and payment, cash flow supports, what the different state-owned credit institutions can give you. But where we get the money today, I think it's, to simplify it in all terms, it's bond markets. equity valuations in energy field is down to, let's say, 40-35%, and this applies also this area, but we are not we are not listed company, although we have over 100 beneficiary owners. And today we have chosen the bond market. And I think if we look in Estonia, that the same thing happened with Enefit Green. So we have basically take money in, which is bond money, which helps us to build assets. First years there is no coupon interest payments, so these kind of things. There are new instruments, and who helps also to deliver the senior financing in Baltics today when the banks are saying no, that they don't understand solar, it's EBRD and AIB. Both of them have support mechanisms for, let's say, projects that don't have yet revenue security. So basically, what it means is that from the day one, the projects doesn't need to have PPAs, but there still is a need for PPAs. So you have a certain period of time to get the PPAs, and then it's okay. So at the moment, this 800 million that we are investing, it's going for basically 100% merchant, if you look it outside in, but inside out, it's basically a plan together with a strategy that the investor liked.
The last question, winter is coming, and that means that heating season is also coming. Could you name like one challenge that we might face during the next coming winter, and what will happen with the prices in your opinion? So basically one sentence, PRIIT, what is your opinion?
So gas is delivering all the, like if you look the spread or upper spread, so it's gas price plus CO2 price on gas, and gas is used also in heating. So in heating, the CO2 prices is a little bit different, but in overall, it's gas prices. And if we continue to be in gas, then I enjoy it personally, because I'm in renewable energy business, and we enjoy then the spread. It helps us also to earn profits. So thank you for that, but for the society, I think gas has to go, and next year will also show. At the moment, everything is full. I mean, the warehouses are full, but the gas prices can do many things and hurt us much.
Mari?
I think this winter, if nothing extreme happens, I think there shouldn't be like in the first phase like some big moments like February, March. Then when we disconnect from Brăila, that might as well kind of give some volatility. But in general, I think it should be like more or less predictable this winter.
Marti, how do you see this winter?
I think prices will be volatile and peaks will be very expensive. So fix your prices if you cannot control your power, because the prices are expensive when you actually want your power in the evening and in the morning. That if you can adjust your demand and consumption, then you can beat the market price. And the desynchronization from the Russian grid will be the most interesting thing that will happen this winter, I guess. Fingers crossed.
Kasper, what's your
Well, the same. I can just add, it will be very unfortunate event when we'll have some, rolling blackouts, after the desynchronization, and that will come in the same time when you have the very cold weather. Then there will be both very much stress on the gas sector, for CHPs, and then I think if you talk about the bioenergy, we should be fine. Don't see any fluctuations in that market. Yeah, but the gas combined with some problems after the synchronization could potentially bring some stressful moments for the customers or the households. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We can smell already that our lunch is ready, so that means that we can continue this discussion in a bit more informal environment. And let's meet here again at 1:30 and continue our conference with the second part. Thank you very much.
Thank you.